Lake Placid has always been special to my family. My parents went to the Adirondacks on their honeymoon, and we made frequent trips to the Adirondacks through the years, especially Lake Placid. We will be looking at some highlights of Lake Placid, such as Whiteface Mountain, some of the attractions, and some magnificent views. It was in the middle of the COVID lockdown, August of 2020, that Stacy and I decided to take a trip to Lake Placid. I had been there many times before. It was Stacy's first time. We brushed up on what the masking requirements would be while we were in Lake Placid. Pretty much any time we were in public. We could be outside the village with no masks on, but as soon as we reached the village limits, there would be a sign on the sidewalk saying, "Masks required beyond this point." Since the rules were pretty strict, we followed them. The hotel we stayed at was Art Devlin's Olympic Motel. Because of the COVID cleaning requirements, cleaning was not done during our stay. On the flip side of it, they would spend about an hour cleaning and sanitizing each room before allowing anyone to check in. We loved the room we had and the view from the balcony. We stayed there for 5 nights, which gave us 4 full days of activities. There were no rules against swimming in the pool, so we certainly took advantage of the pool being open. I believe I was 1 year old when I went to Lake Placid for the first time. These are some old family films showing me at Santa's Workshop in North Pole, which has been another favorite family place to visit through the years. Another favorite was the Land of Make-Believe. Sadly, it is no longer open, and floods have destroyed what was left of it. There was a time when Walt Disney visited the Land of Make-Believe when he was researching ideas for Disneyland. Some of our other favorites were Storyland and Frontier Town. Here's a clip of my sister and me riding in the back of a station wagon, certainly memorable for those of us who were kids in the 1960s. My earliest memory comes from 1964 when I was about 3 years old, and we stayed at the Golden Arrow on Mirror Lake, which still exists. I do remember playing in this kiddie pool while watching my dad diving into the large pool. Another motel we stayed at a couple of times was the Mon Amour, located on Paradox Bay. That's my dad approaching in his boat and me on the dock in 1970. By the time I returned in 1988, I didn't even recognize Paradox Bay anymore. Most of it had been redeveloped. That's my mother and my daughter standing on a dock where the Mon Amour Motel used to be. In 2020, Stacy and I rented a party boat from the same location for some cruising around the waters of Lake Placid. And that, of course, is Whiteface Mountain, where you'll find the highest elevation in the Adirondacks. These are my kids, my sisters, and nieces and nephews in 2000. It was October, and we went up to play in the snow for a few minutes. And Stacy and I took the same trip in 2020. On a clear day, the view from Whiteface is spectacular. Mirror Lake is a beautiful calm body of water where no motorized boats are allowed. There's plenty of water sport activities. It is small enough that you can walk around the entire lake. The Olympic Museum includes the ice rink where the 1980 Miracle on Ice occurred. The United States against Russia. In 1988, we took a plane ride to sightsee over the Lake Placid area. And in 2020, Stacy and I enjoyed hiking some of the trails. And that's a look at some special memories of Lake Placid through the years.